Happy Friday, scholars. Welcome to our last class of the week. And let's start off with our daily data. Yesterday, our turn rate was 26%. Today, it was 36%. Our goal was 50, but I'm not. I'm okay with the 10% bump up, but it really needs to be much higher. And Amani, I will call you back uh, after I'm done recording this video. I want to show you guys how your teachers can tell who is able to log in and who's not doing their work. These are all students who we know that most of you guys have been added to homeroom. Some people are still having technology issues that are out of your control who aren't watching this video, so I don't know why I'm talking to you. But if you are watching this video, which most people have the ability to, there's a whole lot of red of students who are not turning in their reading exit tickets and their math exit tickets. You guys have two classes per day, compared to, and you have about 3 hours of work to do per day compared to the 7 or 8 hours that you have when school is in session. It's really important that you guys are doing this work. I do want to shout out students that are getting the work in almost every single day: Madeline, Elizabeth, Isaac, Bruno, Tamar, Jacqueline, Catherine, Nevaeh, Anthony, Monica, and Ishmael. You guys are showing grit. Grit means the ability to keep grinding day after day and getting it done. You guys are showing a lot of responsibility. You're also showing a lot of confidence and belief in yourself. The fact that you are at home, not making excuses, getting your work done, and Lizbeth, Catherine, Monica, like done to the very, very best of your ability. It shows a lot of confidence in yourself and a lot of belief in your future, because you understand that no one's going to hand you anything, and that you have to be disciplined and pursue your goals. When you guys get to college, no one's holding your hand. No one's going to make sure you go to class. No one's going to make sure that you get your assignments turned in. And so those are skills and habits that you have to develop on your own. And they're not just magically going to pop up later in high school or when you get close to college. You're young adults now, and you need to start working on these, your discipline and your focus now, because, like I said, you're not magically going to get more focused and disciplined in high school. So that's my lecture on that for the day. We will be contacting parents, though, of students who are not doing their work, because this is still school. This is still your education and your future, and you can't neglect it. All right, let's check our work. It's, as Miss McKinney and I are kind of going through and grading these, it's kind of clear that we, number one, not enough, we're not getting full ASAC responses. And also, some pretty basic 2-point comprehension questions are being answered incorrectly, and it's just because of just a lack of effort, not being careful. So let's look at, first let's look at our exemplar from yesterday's ASAC question. How does the setting at Judge Miller's estate shape Buck's personality? Provide at least 2 pieces of evidence and analysis for each. All right, so this should have gone claim, context evidence, analysis. Context evidence, analysis, conclusion. My claim, I said that Buck's experience at Judge Miller's estate had developed an oversized ego, and that Buck felt that he ruled the whole place. Now I'm going to start to give specific examples of this. He was the most loved dog on the estate, enjoying the luxuries of the indoor dogs and the freedom of the outdoor dogs. You can tell from my context. Number one, I'm catching you up to. I'm walking you into the facts in my own words, but you can also tell from my context what my evidence is about to be, what it's going to be about. It's going to be about indoor and outdoor dogs, because my context sets up my evidence. The quote I used was, "But Buck was neither house dog nor kennel dog. The whole realm was his." Here's my analysis for that quote. Buck grew up feeling as if the whole world was his. He was loved by all and free to do whatever he wished. Second context and evidence. The estate was a huge piece of land in a sunny, warm climate. Quote, Buck lived at a big house in the sun-kissed Santa Clara Valley. And I'm going to talk about the environment. In such an environment, it's easy to see Buck growing soft. Life is easy when the weather is great and he has a big house. Buck's experience at the estate would lead him to believe that life is easy and he's the star. Getting back to him having a big ego. All right. Let's take a look at an exemplar piece of work from Catherine. First off, just look how much thought that she put into this. You know, she also felt that the environment made him feel like a king and that he's better than others and he is arrogant. This, guys, this is writing. This is effort from somebody who believes in themselves and who doesn't want to make an excuse of school not being physically in session to stop her growth and development as a thinker, as a reader, and as a leader. So great job, Catherine. Way to really, really put that extra effort in, because what else do we have to do right now, right? All right, let's keep looking over some of the answers to that article. So the next question, it's a 2-point question, guys. You can tell how difficult or how much writing or thinking is necessary based on the points. So a 2-point question, it was just going to require a couple sentences. It says, what remarkable thing does Henry the Shunel do? What makes it remarkable? Well, if you read closely in paragraph 5 and 6, it describes here, in paragraph 4, the researcher hid a biscuit in a cup. Paragraph 5 describes how Henry the dog goes straight to the cup that the researcher was pointing at. And paragraph 6 says right here, Henry the Shunel did a remarkable thing. Understanding a pointed finger may seem easy, but consider this. While humans and canines do it naturally, no other known species in the animal kingdom can. Consider all the mental work that goes into figuring out what a pointed finger means. Paying close attention to a person, recognizing that a gesture reflects a thought, that another animal can even have the same thought. It says it right here, guys. What makes that remarkable? It's remarkable because no other animal has this connection with humans, right? If you point to something, to a lizard, it has no idea what you're doing, you know. Birds. So this connection with dogs, it clearly says right here, if you just read carefully, it explains what they did, which was he can follow a pointed finger, and why that's remarkable. The third and last question was, why are scientists studying the relationship between humans and dogs? A lot of people went off script on this. A lot of people just kind of answered this off the top of their heads, saying like, oh, people love dogs. You know, guys, you have to use the text. You can't just make answers up off the top of your head. Miss McKinney and I know what the text says and what it doesn't say, you know? So make sure you take the time to find the evidence of what you're trying to say. They hit on the reasons why in the last couple of paragraphs. They name that if we understand more about the human and dog connection, it will make us lead to more effective ways to train dogs. They gave some examples of, you could better train dogs to sniff out bombs or guide the blind. So that's one reason, is it can help us learn how to train dogs better to be even more useful. And then the second one, which it says right here, it says at a deeper level, it can even tell us something about ourselves. So by studying right here how dogs, because dogs evolved from wolves, right? How did the dogs we have, how did they evolve from these wild, suspicious wolves to our trusted companions who we can communicate with, right? So if we understand how wolves became dogs, it also helps us understand how our ancestors went from being um, apes, combative apes, that means aggressive, to cooperative humans. So if we can understand about how dogs change from wolves to dogs, it can help us understand how we change from apes to humans. All the answers are right here, guys. You just have to read carefully and read the questions carefully so you know what you're reading for. Okay? So let's get some practice in reading questions carefully so that we know what to read for right now in today's lesson. Today's lesson, guys, we're going to read a couple pages from Call of the Wild. There's no ASAT question today. I just gave you a series of comprehension questions, like literally questions that are just like, hey, what's happening? Jack London he writes with some advanced vocabulary, and so I can understand that sometimes if you get a little bit lost or you have to reread things or you're confused. I provided a cheat sheet for that in today's materials that looks like this. I even broke it down by page, right? So these are like right here. These are 3 terms that I thought you might arrive at on page 5 and not really know what they meant. So I provided some definitions to words I thought might trip you up. I didn't do every single word that might trip you up, but if there was an important phrase or word that I thought would be helpful to provide you a synonym with, here it is. If you do find one of those words like impending, and I give you the synonym, like something that's coming, substitute that word in so that you can see what it means. And now you've just built impending into your vocabulary. So it might help you to have the vocab cheat sheet pulled up as we do our reading. Here are the comprehension questions. Like I said, a lot of them are 1-point questions, which is just a really simple, you can answer a 1-point question in 1 word. And not 1 word, in 1 sentence, okay? The last 3 are 2-point questions, which are still kind of simple questions that might require multiple sentences to really explain what you're talking about. So let's start the reading together and start to answer these questions together. So the first, preview the first couple questions. What city is Buck taken to after he is kidnapped from San Diego? And what lie does Buck's kidnapper tell the train's baggage man? All right. So let's start reading. When we find the answers to these questions, we'll plug them in, and shouldn't take too long. I only signed about 3 pages. As a reminder to how to find the text if you don't have the book, guys, go to the resource section of our page. Here it is. All right. In the assignment description, it tells you what page we're starting. In the physical copy, this starts on page 5. In the online copy, we're starting on page. Start right here. Buck had accepted the rope. Okay. Again, I'm looking for where does Buck get taken after he is dog mapped. We know that he's in San Diego right now, or Santa Clara, which is in the San Diego area. All right. Buck had accepted the rope with quiet dignity. To be sure, it was an unwanted performance. But he had learned to trust in men he knew, and to give them credit for a wisdom that outreached his own. But when the end of the ropes were placed in the stranger's hand, he growled menacingly. He had merely intimated his displeasure, in his pride believing that to intimate was to command. But to his surprise, the rope tightened around his neck, shutting off his breath. In a quick rage, he sprang at the man, who met him halfway, grappled him close by the throat, and with a deft twist, threw him over on his back. Then the rope tightened mercilessly, while Buck struggled in a fury, his tongue lolling out of his mouth and his great chest panting futilely. Never in all his life had he been so vilely treated, and never in all his life had he been so angry. But his strength ebbed, his eyes glazed, and he knew nothing when the train was flagged and the two men threw him into the baggage car. So he passed out. The next he knew, he was dimly aware that his tongue was hurting and that he was being jolted along in some kind of conveyance. The hoarse shriek of a locomotive whistling a crossing told him where he was. He had traveled too often with the judge not to know the sensation of riding in a baggage car. He opened his eyes, and into them came the unbridled anger of a kidnapped king. The man sprang for his throat, but Buck was too quick for him. His jaws closed on the hand, nor did they relax till his senses were choked out of him once more. So, what just happened, right? He just bit the guy who kidnapped him and didn't let go until his senses were choked out of him. He passed out again. Yep, has fits, the man said, hiding his mangled hand from the baggageman, who was attracted by the sounds of the struggle. I'm taken up to the boss to Frisco. Crack dog doctor. Let me rewind, guys. My bad. Yep, has fits, the man said, hiding his mangled hand from the baggageman, who had been attracted to the sounds of the struggle. I'm taking him up for the boss to Frisco. A crack dog doctor who there thinks that he can cure him. Concerning that night's ride, the man spoke most eloquently for himself in a little shed back of a saloon on the San Francisco waterfront. Pause there. Let's look at our first couple questions. What city is Buck taken to? Did you pick up on it? Take a second to go back. Find your evidence. What city has Buck been taken to? Where was he headed? Oh, sorry guys, I gotta find the reading. Take a second to type your answer in. Buck is taken to San Francisco. He's headed north, obviously on his way to Alaska. Number two, what lie does Buck's kidnapper tell the train's baggage man? What lie does the kidnapper tell the train's baggage man? Did you find it? Yes, right here. Yep, has fits, the man said, hiding his mangled hand from the baggageman, who had been attracted by the sounds of struggle. I'm taking him up for the boss to Frisco. A crack doctor there thinks that he can cure him. This guy's lying. He kidnapped Buck, but his lie is that Buck is his boss's dog, and he's taking him to a doctor to fix his fits. All right. All right. I will leave you with that. I'm going to erase this so you guys have a blank copy as you do your reading. Your stopping and starting points are in the assignment instructions. If you have the physical copy, you're reading from page 5 to 8. If you're reading off the internet, you're reading from page 8 to page 11, and I gave you the specific lines, guys. All right. I might see you in office hours. If not, have a great day, have a great weekend, and good effort on these assignments. Bye, guys.